Good evening, everybody, and welcome to IACT Racing here at Hickory Motor Speedway. Tonight, it is the Goss Chevrolet Hickory 100 here from Hickory Motor Speedway. Tonight's race is brought to you by GossCars.com and by RKM Setup Shop. I'm Nick Mumley, and alongside me in our virtual broadcast booth is one Michael Stridesberg. Michael, how are we this evening?
I'm pretty good, Nick. Hope you're doing good as well. Had some great racing last week in the GossCars.com IACT Winter Warm Series, and we are looking forward to another outstanding show here in round two. A nice balmy 71 degrees in virtual Hickory, North Carolina. Slight chance of rain, but we're not going to let that bother us. We are ready for some action. Practice just wrapping up now. And soon we are going to roll the first qualifying heat out onto the grid here. And the virtual, what are you looking for tonight, Nick?
I am looking forward to tire management. That is going to be the name of the game in this race tonight, especially in the second half of it. This is a tough, abrasive, old racetrack here in Hickory. It's going to be really difficult for these guys to hold on to their tires. And no tire changes tonight, Michael, so you've got to make that one set last 100 laps, and you got to have it in a position where you can still make something happen when it comes down to the end of the race.
Indeed, you can see the first of three qualifying heats staged on the grid. 12 laps the distance in each heat tonight. Top 5 will qualify for the main event. Everyone else will go to the last chance consolation race to set a firm 26 car starting field for tonight's action. Let's look at the starting field on the pole. The two-time Thunder Road King of the Road, Scott Dragon, in car number 0. Outside, podium finisher in the season opener last week, Lukey Shannon in the number 13. Then we've got Kyle Willis in the Scene Double, number 43, inside row number 2. Then the 55 New Hampshire for Randy Cole Jr. Mike McCaskill in car number 3. The 17 is Kyle Goodboo. Jason Ricker inside row 4 in the 9. The 13 Vermont for Ty Delphia. Final row will be the 1 of Kyler Davis and the 31 of Logan Powers. Nick, we are getting ready to go racing here in Heat 1.
A stacked heat race number 1 here for the Goss Chevrolet 100 at Hickory Motor Speedway. Pace car is going to dive off onto pit road. Scott Dragon, Luke Shannon going to bring us to green. We're racing at Hickory in heat race number 1.
On the outside, it is Lukey Shannon with the brake. Dragon has to fall back in line behind him, still side by side, looking up at the 4th spot. You see Mike McCaskill trying to get to the inside of Randy Cole.
As they go down here onto the backstretch, settling down into single file. Still side by side back in the field. This is the battle for 4th position. Mike McCaskill inside, Randy Cole outside, and then Ricker underneath them trying to make something happen. Up on the top side, there's Kyle Goodboo. He's trying to recover after a rough and tumble opening event at 5 Flags, trying to work his way back into the points chase here in IACT here in 2025.
We do apologize for the ticker. This appears to be a bug that's inserted the system whenever the field comes out for Heat 1. We hope that will get sorted out for Heat 2. In the meantime, they are fighting for the final transfer spot. The 9 of Jason Ricker takes it on the inside, and Kyler Davis body slams the 55 of Cole. He is up to 6, but he is 1 spot out of the money as we're closing in on halfway here at Hickory.
5 cars qualify. Everybody else to the consolation round later on. Right now, that final spot held by Ricker. As we go back up to the front, here's Kyle Willis, recent guest on the ACT podcast with myself and Aaron Maynard this past week. He's in 3rd. He's chasing down Scott Dragon, looking for more.
Behind him, things heating up from 4th on back. Jason Ricker, the Oxford Plains Speedway and past tech inspector, putting in some yeoman's work at the wheel of the 9. He is inside Mike McCaskill looking for some insurance as they swap a little paint in 1 and 2. Ricker takes the spot, and here comes Kyler Davis from the final row, is up to the final transfer spot in this one. Right behind him, the 13 Vermont of Ty Delphia, as we are coming to 3 laps to go in this one.
Mike McCaskill, who opened up the season with a top 10 run in his IACT debut. He's getting the worst of it right now. He just got body slammed by all 3 cars in line right there. He has fallen out of the transfer, dropping all the way to the back of the field. Goodboo's going to get around him. McCaskill looks like at this point he's going to have to come back in the Consi. As you can see, that car really struggling up on the top side of the speedway.
Next time by, the white flag checking in on our leader, Lukey Shannon, all alone at the front of the pack. Dragon holding on to that second spot. We will keep an eye on the battle for the final transfer position here on the final lap. Kyler Davis has it. Philadelphia trying to take it away as they come to the line.
Here they come, white flag in the air. And it's going to be Luke Shannon taking the checkered flag, that is, to end heat race number 1. Got our laps mixed up there, Michael. As
that's okay.
Shannon takes the checkered
Scott
flag.
Dragon finishes in second. Then it's Willis, Davis, Ricker, your qualifiers. Everyone else going to the last chance qualifier here at Hickory Motor Speedway. Heat 2 getting ready to roll out on the grid. 9 cars slated to start this one. And Nick, we got some heavy hitters in this one as well.
Yeah, all of these heat races have been stacked so far. Brock Rouse on the pole in the Harrison Concrete number 70 machine. To his outside, the 8-time ACT champion, Brian Hoare in the 46. Then it's Reagan Parent in the 17, led so many laps last week at 5 Flags, and to his outside, making his IACT debut in 2025, a regular runner in 2024. That's Dylan Zulo from Claremont Motorsports Park in the 16. To the inside of him, it's the 03, also making his first appearance of the 2025 season. That's Nathan Wenzel. And to his outside is going to be the 12 car of Brian Rogers. Richie Murray from Seekonk Speedway down in southern New England will start in 7th. Tyler Cahoon from White Mountain on his outside in 8th. And bringing up the rear here in heat race number 2, that's the 04 Vermont, the Goss Chevrolet entry for Justin Prescott.
Once again, 12 laps, top 5 take the front door into the Goss Chevrolet 100 at Virtual Hickory Motor Speedway. Everybody else goes to the last chance race. Pace cars in. Brock Rouse and Brian Hoare on the front row come to the green flag. They are underway.
As they dive through turns 1 and 2, it's Brock Rouse with a nose ahead of Brian Hoare in the 46. Reagan Parent sneaks his nose underneath, looking for second position. Parent looked so strong, like we mentioned last week at 5 Flag Speedway. The tires fell off late in that one. Ultimately fell back almost to the outside of the top 10, way back in 8th or 9th, if I remember correctly. But Parent now coming through on the inside. He's going to take over 2nd, Hoare to 3rd, Wenzel 4th, and then the battle for the final transfer spot is Richie Murray versus Dylan Zulo.
Indeed. That is going to be Richie Murray on the inside. He goes into the final transfer spot. Right behind him is the 04 Justin Prescott, and let's see what he's got to see as he is going to go to the inside of his dad, Brian Hoare. That's a battle for the fourth, make it the 5th spot here at Hickory Motor Speedway. Looking for the final spot in the main event. The inside, definitely the place to be here early on.
How about Prescott from shotgun on the field right now? He's going past his dad, Brian, who started on the outside pole. Pretty good run so far for Justin Prescott here in these first few laps as he's worked his way up into the final transfer spot. Meanwhile, as Reagan Parent slaps the wall on corner exit coming off of turn number 2, he was making a challenge for the lead, but Brock Rouse will hold his ground for now with 6 laps to go.
Parent got a little anxious there off of turn 2. You can see a little damage on the right front of that car. Doesn't seem to have slowed him down any yet. Behind him, things heating up for 3rd spot. Richie Murray in the 08 to the inside of the former New Hampshire NASCAR state champion Nathan Wenzel. Then it's Justin Prescott, Dylan Zulo waiting to see who gets the advantage.
Murray to the inside of Wenzel. This is for 3rd. Trying to complete the pass this time by racing good side-by-side, challenging here. No contact made between the two of them just yet. We'll see as these laps wind down who wants the spot maybe just a little bit more. As this time it's going to be Murray with the advantage. Prescott wants to get the nose underneath there and get that position for himself. And now we have a battle for the lead.
Oh, contact in 3 and 4. Everybody hangs on to it, but the caution flag is going to come out. Parent
Oh, boy.
and Rouse get together fighting for the lead. Everybody keeps it straight, but the yellow flag is out with 3 laps to go, showing on the scoreboard here at the Hickory Motor Speedway. We'll see if we can get a look at what happened here coming off of turns 3 and 4.
Looks like Reagan Parent sliding up a little bit. I don't know. I think the 70 held his line. At least from that angle is what it looked like. It looked like Reagan Parent got a little bit of a slide going on that number 17 machine through the center of the corner. We'll see what penalties are issued here, if any.
Well, if nothing else, some very nice saves made so far. The 17 and the 70 remaining at the front of the field. Race control discussing what, if anything, to do under this caution flag as we set up for what's looking to be a green-white checker finish in heat number 2.
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
And I tell you, Dylan Zulo, Brian Hoare, they're really watching anxiously here as it looks like the 17 and the 70 will go to the back of the field with just 3 to go. So that's a tough break for the both of them as they were both really close to getting their way into the show. But now they're in position. They're going to have to work their way through the consolation round. And I want to ask you, Michael, just for those at home who might be wondering, how much does the Heat 2 pay to win?
Pays $0. They're racing for a qualifying spot and starting position in the main event. But again, $0 to win. So we're going to see what happens here in these final 2 laps.
Here they come, coming to green. The top 2, now Richie Murray and Nate Wenzel. The green flag is out. Great jump by the 08 of Murray. He's got the lead into 1 and 2. Side by side, the battle for third. That's Prescott and Zulo. Battle for the final transfer spot is Brian Hoare on the inside in that red 46. To the outside of him, Tyler Cahoon, who's sliding back in there 3 wide as they come to the white.
Reagan Parent trying to shoot the gap on the final lap. Brushes the wall in turns 3 and 4. They're coming though to the checker flag. We got a spin off turn 3. Parent hangs onto it, and Murray wins heat number 2 in the GossCars.com IACT Series. Nate Wenzel second, then Justin Prescott, Dylan Zulo, and Brian Hoare, your 5 qualifiers. Rouse and Parent made a bid, but they are going to be going to the last chance race here tonight at Hickory Motor Speedway.
Sure are. A tough break for the 2 of them. Both in a really good spot to start up well inside the top 10 tonight, but it was not to be as we move on now to heat number 3.
Once again, 12 laps, top 5 to qualify, 9 cars slated to start. On the pole, the former Thunder Road Flying Tiger and Triple Crown Series champion Joel Hodgson inside row 1. Outside, first time out this year for the former late model competitor and director of competition at Thunder Road, Dean Gallison in the 35. Then we have last week's winner, Ryan Kuhn in car number 72, the RKM 7 setup shop machine. Then the 4 for Matt Smith. The 13, that is Bob Eldred, podium finisher last time out, and then the reigning champion, Casey Beatty in the 45. David Weir in car number 21, the 69 for Aiden Young, and on the rear, car number 7, that is Cooper Bouchard.
12 laps is the distance. Top 5 will qualify. The remainder of the field will go to the consolation round. Joel Hodgson, Dean Gallus in your front row as the iRacing pace car makes its way down to pit road. Green flag is out. Off goes Hodgson. Off goes Gallison. We're racing in heat number 3.
Already a little fisticuffs in the middle of the pack as Bob Eldred all crossed up. Some contact with Casey Beatty. Everybody keeps it rolling. Eldred, though, shuffled way back in that Mind Warp number 13.
Yeah, there's a lot of contact.
Has taken the lead at the front. Then it's Hodgson and a battle for third here between Gallison and Smith.
Matt Smith on the inside there in the 04. To the outside, that's Dean Gallison. He's dropping back some spots here on the top side of the speedway. Now goes way high off of turn 2. Casey Beatty is going to steal that fourth position away. Now Dean Gallison into the catbird seat. Now he's going to go on the outside looking in as David Weir locks himself into the show. Cooper Bouchard wants some in the VSAC Ford Mustang. He goes underneath Gallison into sixth. Now he'll set his sights for Weir in the final transfer.
In the meantime, it is Ryan Kuhn all alone at the front of the pack. Closest battle right now is for third between the 4 of Matt Smith and the 45 of Beatty. And we're going to take a look outside the rear of Matt Smith. You can see Casey Beatty's car all crinkled up from that opening lap contact. But so far, it is not slowing him down any, trying to find a way around the 4 of Smith.
Beatty getting the nose right down to the back bumper of Matt Smith in the 4 car. Going back into turn 1. There's the bumper again. You can see the battle for the transfer spot is on. Cooper Bouchard's going to steal the position away from David Weir. And Bouchard works his way into the top 5 and into a transfer spot for tonight's Goss Chevrolet 100.
And as that happens, Smith and Beatty have caught Joel Hodgson. Now a 3-car battle for second as Beatty decides it's time to go. Puts the nose to the inside of Smith. They bump in turn 1. Everybody keeps it pointed in the correct direction. Beatty trying to take the 3rd spot away with 3 laps to go.
To the stripe, there they are. A little bit of door slam being played between these two competitors as they battle for 3rd position. Matt Smith holding tough on the outside. Ryan Kuhn's opened up a 1.3 second lead on Joel Hodgson. Hodgson's trying to ride around in 2nd and guarantee himself a fine starting position for tonight's feature, while Smith and Beatty, neither of them content to finish where they are. They're both fighting for position number 3 as they come to the white flag.
That battle was the best thing to happen for Joel Hodgson, has allowed him to get a couple of car lengths. A little smoke on the backstretch, but it does not bother Ryan Kuhn as he comes out of turn 4. He will win heat number 3 for the Goss Chevrolet 100. Hodgson in 2nd, then Matt Smith. Casey Beatty goes for the slide, and Cooper Bouchard takes the final transfer spot in heat number 3.
Yeah, Bob Eldred 6th, Aiden Young 7th, Dean Gallison, David Weir bringing up the tail end of the field. Those 4 headed to the consolation round later on. Tough break for Bob Eldred. Got into it there on the very first lap, pushed him back to the tail of the field, and he had to try to make his way up through. Couldn't quite get back into a qualified position, though, as we head now for our consolation round.
Yes, when Nick said later, he meant right now. 15 laps. It's going to be the top 11 to the main event, a 26-car starting field. So finishers 1 through 11 will fill positions 16 through 26 on the grid. For the finishers in positions 12th and 13th, we hope to see you next Monday night. So a little bit of pressure there in the back of the field, Nick, to see who's going to be eliminated and who's not.
Absolutely. The starting lineup for tonight's consolation race goes a little like this. Philadelphia on the pole in the 13, to his outside Brian Rogers in the 12. Bob Eldred, who we were just talking about, in the 13 car, he'll start 3rd. To his outside, Kyle Goodboe in the 17, looking to bounce back from last week. Starting 5th is going to be Brock Rouse in the 70. Aiden Young will start 6th. 7th, Logan Powers. 8th, Mike McCaskill. 9th is Dean Gallison. 10th, David Weir. 11th, way back in 11th, is going to be where we'll find Reagan Parrott. And Randy Cole will start just outside of the qualifying position in 12th. And Tyler Cahoon will bring up the rear in car 38. He'll start 13th. Like you said, Michael, top 11 qualify. Not a lot of huge pressure on it in this race if you're running up at the front of the field. But you got to be in that top 11 to make the show.
Indeed, and we've got 15 laps to sort it out. Green flag underway. Already swapping vinyl in turn 1. Philadelphia gets the advantage over Brian Rogers. And then behind him, they're inside starting to move. Bob Eldred to the inside for 2nd. Brock Rouse right behind in the 70.
Side by side, everybody trying to keep it clean here, knowing that a wreck at this venture of the consolation round could put your efforts to qualify for the Goss Chevrolet 100 in peril as they continue to go side by side. Brian Rogers giving up a little bit of ground there on the outside. Brock Rouse to his inside as they dive back to turn 3.
Yes, and at this part of the field, and just as I was about to say, they go
Ooh, big
three
lift
wide
there
on the
from
front
Goodboom.
straightaway. I was trying to say, Nick, that at this point, for these drivers, it's about calculated risk. You certainly want to gain some spots because then that's cars you don't have to pass in the main event, but not if it's going to jeopardize you making the show. We'll see how they play that as we are 4 laps into this one.
Right now, Dean Gallison still holding on to the 11th position. Randy Cole, Tyler Cahoon, the car is on the outside looking in, and a little bit of a gap between those three automobiles. As we go to the helicopter view here, you take a look. Kyle Goodboom there makes the dive down to the inside, trying to get into that preferred groove to chase after Logan Powers and Brian Rogers. Aiden Young having to give a little bit of a lift there for the former White Mountain Rookie of the Year, as all of these drivers fighting for starting position right now, all of them locked into the show at this point in time. Dean Gallison, like I said, the last car qualified for this race, and you can see Randy Cole, Tyler Cahoon, the drivers trying to find their way in.
Meanwhile, at the front, 13 is a very lucky number in this one. The 13 VT of Ty Delphi as we pass the halfway point, maintaining the gap over the 13 of Bob Eldred. Then it is Rouse, Rogers, and Logan Powers has finally secured that 5th spot. Taking a look in the middle of the field, side by side, the 17 of Parent, the 21 of Weird, that is for the 8th position. And gotta tell you, Randy Cole and Tyler Cahoon are gonna have to pick up the pace soon here because we are inside of 5 laps to go.
You can see him behind Dean Gallison there. The gap is getting a little bit closer, but now they're running side by side with 5 to go, so it might get a little bit tougher. But Reagan Parent running back in 8th position in this race, not putting himself in a good spot to equal what he was able to accomplish last week with having such a strong run at 5 Flags. He's going to make this difficult on himself to get up through the field while also maintaining tires and have a shot at winning this thing.
Indeed. We are inside of 3 to go, though, and the 55, of Cole, just one car length back, and Mike McCaskill has fallen back to 10th. He can't be feeling comfortable right now. We will keep our focus here as at the front it is all Ty Delphia inside of 2 laps to go in this one.
Yeah, Delphia with about a half-second lead as you see the gap continuing to shrink, coming to the white flag. Randy Cole is within a car length trying to make it happen and get into the show. Dean Gallison trying to hold on. Here he comes off of turn number 2. Ty Delphia back up at the front of the field is going to win the consolation race. The battle for the final transfer spot will go to Gallison as Cole spins it off of turn number 4. Dean Gallison locks himself into the Goss Chevrolet 100 here tonight at Hickory.
And Tyler Cahoon and Randy Cole, unfortunately, looks like the odd men out, barring any promoters' options for this Goss Chevrolet 100. Nick, we have a 5-minute warm-up here before we go racing for tonight's main event, and that seems like a perfect time to tell everyone about tonight's sponsor, Goss Chevrolet. They are part of GossCars.com, located in Champlain, New York. Like all Goss locations, strive to provide their neighbors with a seamless car buying experience, a wide array of quality vehicles, accommodating financing options, and advanced technology at their state-of-the-art service center. As we see some wrecking in the warm-up, good thing they got some damage resets.
Yeah, I would say that's some fooling around.
Yeah, if you're looking for a good Chevrolet or anything else, go visit Goss Chevrolet in Champlain, New York. Check them out at GossCars.com. And what is it they say, Nick? I'll tell you what they say. Go, 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 Goss has got it.
I missed you singing the little jingle there, Michael. Oh my goodness. That's how you know for sure it's a new season of IACT. Michael singing the Goss jingle. No, anyway, I mean, I don't know if you've been out there and seen that dealership that they have, that Goss has out there in Champlain. It's just in a beautiful location out there in northern New York, up there in Champlain. And I mean, every time I drive by, that lot is just jam-packed to the gills with brand new and pre-owned Chevrolets. I mean, it's so beautiful. those Chevy trucks, I've got one of them, and gets me where I need to go, Michael. I can tell you the winters up here can get a little treacherous. Just slap my Chevy Colorado into 4-wheel drive, and we're good to go. So if you're looking to get a truck and you're in the market for getting into the truck business, a Chevy truck is the way to go for sure.
Indeed. And also, Nick, we do have one other supporter tonight for the GossCars.com IACT series, RKM Setup Shop. Can you tell us a little about them?
Yeah, you see that guy there on the top left of the screen sitting in first place with the fastest practice speed. It's the same guy who was in victory lane last week when he won the Wits Automotive 100 at Five Flags. That's Ryan Kuhn. He owns Ryan Kuhn, or RKM Setup Shops. Setup Shops, Ryan Kuhn Motorsports. They have been perfecting their craft on getting these setups down to a T for many, many years. Ryan Kuhn, he's the best iRacer I know. I would put it up against anybody that he's the best iRacer in New England. And he offers his wealth of knowledge on this sim service and with the setups of iRacing to, make things work a lot smoother for these drivers. Provides us with setups that allow these cars to get around track in a much better manner than normal, and as a result, we have some great racing that we're able to put on each and every Monday night here in the wintertime. So huge shout out to RKM Setup Shop. They've been with us for a couple of years now at IACT, and if you're not sure, just watch that 72 car. I mean, look how well that he's getting around the racetrack right now. If you want that to be you can start off by getting yourself a subscription to the RKM Setup Shop.
Indeed, and he's a pretty good racer in the real world, too. 2022 Pass North champion, some major wins all around the region. And we're going to see what he can do tonight. We're hearing there may be a potential winner's handicap after his performance last week. We will find out when they come to the grid, as we have less than 40 seconds left in this final warm-up for the Goss Chevrolet 100, as some guys taking advantage of the fact that the cars reset before the feature event, it looks like.
Have you ever run your race car full speed into the tire barrier at Hickory Motor Speedway? Well, if so, go to Goss Chevrolet in Champlain, New York, and get yourself a brand new Chevrolet to replace the one that you destroyed in the virtual game. There's my plug for the night.
Awesome.
Final seconds.
We are getting down to it, Nick, as the time runs out on final practice for the Goss Chevrolet 100. 100 green flag laps of racing, and again, no tire changes in this event. There will be some events later on where we have tire changes, but no tire changes, no free passes under caution either. So, as you were saying earlier, a case where you have definitely got to manage your race if you want to have a successful outing, as 26 IACT cars strong are coming to the grid.
Here we go. It is time for the starting lineup for the Goss Chevrolet 100. Starting on the front row in the 13 machine, that's Luke Shannon. Finished third last week at Five Flags. And to his outside from Seekonk Speedway, Richie Murray in the 08.
Currently, as they stand, it is the 72 of Ryan Kuhn based on his Heat 3 win. We will see if he remains there. You actually see him pulling down right now as the field gets ready to roll. But scheduled to fourth on the outside, that is the 0 for the two-time Thunder Road King of the Road, Scott Dragon.
The new driver starting third place here tonight is going to be Nate Wenzel in the 03, the former New Hampshire state champion. And then behind him, you got Kyle Willis in the 43. To his outside, that's Joel Hodgden in the 36.
Then in row number 4, we have a 04 and a sort of 04. And on the inside, the 4, that is Matt Smith. And alongside him, that is another Thunder Road winner, the 04 AH Fence Company car for Justin Prescott.
Then we've got Dylan Zulo in the 16Z. To his outside, Jason Ricker in the 9.
The 1 of Kyler Davis, then the reigning champion Casey Beatty in the 45, Cooper Bouchard in the 7, and the 46 for the 8-time ACT champion Brian Hoare.
Then you've got Bob Eldred, Ty Delphia, Brian Rogers, Brock Rouse, and bringing up the rear. Well, here we go. We'll let the other guys, you can watch them on the ticker. We're racing in the Goss Chevrolet 100 as Shannon is out with the advantage. Richie Murray will settle into second. Nate Wenzel third. Scott Dragon sitting in fourth.
They're still side by side, though, from fifth on back. 43, Kyle Willis working on the inside of Joel Hodgson. Hodgson doesn't want to give it up just yet. Puts the nose up on the outside, and he is actually going to seal that fifth spot on the outside. Willis falling back into the clutches of Matt Smith.
You've got the battle of the 04s back there, fighting for 7th and 8th right now, but now it looks like Justin Prescott's losing a little bit of ground in the Goss Chevrolet number 04 machine. He gets the wall a little bit off of turn 4. That opens the door for Zulo in the 16. Kyler Davis also right there in the 1.
Door to door, bumper to bumper here in the back half of the top 10. Justin Prescott fighting back on that high group is going to hold on to the 8th spot for now. Jason Ricker in the 9 trying to make it work on the outside as well, as Zulo starting to slip a little bit. Here comes Ricker on the outside. Davis and Beatty looking for room right behind him.
Yeah, Justin Prescott able to slide in front of Dylan Zulo. Oh, and now we have problems. Around goes Zulo. Around goes Ricker. Piling in is Brian Rogers. And the caution flag is out here on lap number 7.
Oh, it all comes apart racing for a spot in the top 10 as everybody tries to get it righted here. We will take a look here, see if we can get another angle as this one. This one is our crack replay team going to work here to see what they can come up with. We are under caution with 7 laps complete.
Yeah, tough break there for Jason Ricker, kind of just minding his own business, trying to wheel around the top side of the racetrack, and that just changed his whole race. He's going to have to go all the way to the back here as we take a look, see what happened. You see the 16 and the 9 running side by side here, Michael.
Indeed, 2 guys fighting hard for a spot in the top 10, and a little contact entering turn number 3. Yeah, but didn't get the line. Zulo didn't get the line he wanted. Slid up the track a little bit, and Jason Ricker was there. Brian Rogers and others with nowhere to go end up piling in.
Yeah, he had all the good intentions there, starting on the inside of the corner, but by the time he was in the center of the turn, he was in the 3rd lane.
Indeed. We see the 45 of Beatty already on pit road with some significant damage to the right side of that car. He pulls away now. Ricker we saw on pit road. Everybody getting sorted out here as some drastic shuffling goes on in the middle of the pack early in this one.
Yeah, and that's good news for Ryan Kuhn. He wants this field to stay bunched up, have some guys spin out, cause cautions, get behind him in the running. That's just free cars to pass here as we come to green here in the Goss Chevrolet 100.
And it's Richie Murray leading them down to the line here, was able to get the top spot, and he holds on to it on this restart. Luke Shannon dives to the bomb in second, and then it is Nathan Wenzel side by side behind him. A pair of former Thunder Road champions, Dragon in the 0 and Joel Hodgson in the 36.
Yeah, good side-by-side battle. This is for 4th position on the racetrack. A couple of guys who didn't have things go their way. Oh, and we have trouble on turn 3 again. Multiple cars spinning, including Justin Prescott in the Goss Chevrolet machine. Prescott's around in turn number 4. Yellow flag is out for the 2nd time. Look out, Justin. Almost backed right up into the leaders.
Oh, man. We'll see if go back here and see if we can get a look at what happened. Oh, looks like it happened right in front of Justin. Looked like some contact.
Bob Eldred and Kyle Willis. Yeah. See Cooper Bouchard was pitched sideways there. In the 7 machine.
We'll see if we can get a closer look at what happened there. At that point, the wreck's already happened. Let's see if we can back it up a little here.
Yeah, I think. Let's see. Willis is. You see him on the top of your screen. He's going up.
So it kind of starts there when he gets a little loose off of turn 2, and that allows Eldred to close up, and
Eldred just tries to fill the gap there. I don't think there was a whole lot of room there, but see Cooper Bouchard comes to a stop, gets spun around into by Ryan Kuhn. Ryan Kuhn getting in the back of the 7 machine. So Ryan Kuhn picking up a little bit of damage in that accident as well as we go back to live here. 10 laps complete under our second caution period of the day. You see Casey Beatty on pit
Beatty
road.
back on pit road. And you saw Kuhn did make a pit road visit as well, but he is back on the speedway. 9 laps complete in this one, and Richie Murray is, I think, very happy to be at the front ahead of all this early fisticuffs.
Yeah, absolutely. And the restarts between him and Luke Shannon have been fun to watch so far. Shannon got the first one, Murray got the second one, and now we're coming up, and we'll see who gets the third one. And, don't count out a guy like a Nate Wenzel, Scott Dragon here. Maybe make something happen as we get ready to come to green.
And it's Richie Murray, though, with another great jump in that Chuckrin Auto Parts team. Oh, contact behind him as Luke Shannon tried to get to the bottom, but the 03 of Nathan Wenzel was there. And, Shannon gets into it. There goes Wenzel. Parent around it behind him, and the caution is back out.
And just straight chaos. Reagan Parent involved. Aiden Young involved, among many others. As that might have been a little bit of a lack of patience. We saw Wenzel give a little bit of a bump to the 13 of Shannon, and then the very next corner, around goes the 03 in front of the field, and chaos ensuing here. Let's take a look. Yeah.
And there was a little contact in turn 1 when they got the other fighting the second spot. I mean, really, the only one who knows whether there was any intent there is the 13 of Lukey Shannon, but the end result is the same. And the 03 of Wenzel goes around. We see McCaskill, we see Bouchard. It looks like, for the most part, any major damage was avoided, but some definite scrambling in the field happens as a result.
Yeah, that's for sure. So, third caution of the day. We didn't even make it a lap that time. So, we'll see how things go here. And interesting to see. I believe Luke Shannon is going to get to restart from the back of the field this time around. So Scott Dragon's going to jump up to the outside of Richie Murray on this restart.
Indeed, that is the word from race control. Goes to the rear for the contact. And that means that Richie Murray is going to have a new dancing partner as we go back racing. Murray and Dragon, Joel Hodgson having a very strong run early. And look, Ty Delphia out of the B feature is already up to 6th spot as the green flag comes back out.
Murray goes flying out to the front. Scott Dragon is in second. Joel Hodgson it now into the podium position in third here as this race is about 11 or 12% complete. To the outside, this is the battle for fourth. Matt Smith in the 04 runs up the road there in turn number 2, and we have trouble back in turn number 1. Caution flag is out once again here for the 4th time.
Caution flag is back out. We will see if we can figure out what happened, but once again, some tough sledding early on in this one as we go back under the yellow flag here at the Hickory Motor Speedway.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get a replay, maybe get a sense of what happened here.
Yeah. We're still trying to figure if we can determine what happened here. Let's take a look. If we're able to figure it out, we will let you know. But the bottom line is, Nick, is that we've had 4 cautions in the first 13 laps of this one. Not the start that many of these drivers were looking for here at Hickory.
Certainly not. And a lot of it has been, single car stuff that has turned into massive accidents because there's been nowhere for anybody to go.
Yeah,
There's the replay of Jim Bob over here going to the concession stand.
Getting the correct camera. Having a little trouble getting the correct camera here, but may have been something to do with the 35, but we're not entirely sure. We can see he was way back of the field, but we will withhold judgment. Oh, we do see the 03 of Nathan Wenzel there turned around at the very end, so we'll see if we can get a view there of what happened. And there is our answer.
Off the bumper of Luke Shannon again.
Oh boy. I have a feeling that race control is not going to enjoy these extracurriculars happening, and if they're smart, they'll put an end to it right quickly.
I would go ahead and assume the same. So here we go, back to green flag racing. Richie Murray again with a great start. Scott Dragon again from second, lagging back just a little bit as he now races side by side with Joel Hodgson. Kyler Davis is third, Matt Smith fourth, Kyle Goodboe up to fifth. We talked about his rough run at Five Flags last week. Needed a good one to stay in the points chase like he was last year, and here he is up into the top five here, just 15 laps into the show.
Indeed, having a strong run early, as is the one of Davis in front of him. Finished many laps down last week at Virtual Five Flags, but he is on the charge right now. Heads to the inside of Scott Dragon, picks up the third spot. Next, he will set his sights on the 36 of Joel Hodgson for the number two position. Yes, I do math. I can count.
It is difficult, though, sometimes. As Richie Murray holding on to those tires right now, is Joel Hodgson staying within a quarter second of him. This is a ride on board now with the 13 of Tydelphia, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, Michael.
That is correct.
There's Tydelphia from the consolation round all the way up to sixth position on the racetrack in just 18 laps. Having a bunch of cautions at the start of the race will give that to you. Tydelphia, he's got some time running out front overall today with the big consolation round win. Logan Powers started way back in the field, and you see Ryan Kuhn up to ninth in the 72.
And at the front, the 36, Joel Hodgson, not letting Richie Murray get away. If anything, he is slowly closing back in on him with 20 laps in the books in this one. Joel Hodgson having arguably the best race of his IACT career here, has closed right up to the decade of Richie Murray in this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Joel having a great showing today. Same with Scott Dragon in his second career IACT start. Back to fifth right now, but having a really strong run after having some bumps and bruises last week at Five Flags. So good to see Scott showing some improvement this week. As you see the top 10 or so cars settling in here. There's Kyle Goodboe in the 17. He's in fourth at the time being. Going to the inside of Kyler Davis, looking to make the change in position for third place on the racetrack.
And he has it out of turn 4. Goodboe up to third. Kyler Davis slams the door and holds on to fourth. Then it is Dragon in the 0. Delphia, Smith, Powers, Kuhn, and Brian Rogers Jr. Your top 10 as we are at the quarter pole of the Goss Chevrolet 100.
Looks like
look down 1 and 2. They take for the fourth spot.
Scott Dragon, Kyler Davis, Tydelphia, all involved in a battle for fifth that ends in chaos, and Kyler Davis backing it down the front of the back straightaway. I'm sure none too pleased there after getting hit by the 0 of Scott Dragon. Caution flag out for the fifth time here on lap 26.
And we will take a look at what happened here on the GossCars.com replay. You can see him running single file for fourth. Nick, what happens here?
It looks like Scott's going to commit to the inside. Kyler's going to go a little bit of a lane higher. And, man, I think that's two guys just running for the same piece of real estate right there. I don't know if I want to lay the blame on anybody in that one. As you see Logan Powers going around, Ty Delphi is involved, Ryan Kuhn having to come nearly to a stop.
Yeah. Yeah, Ryan Kuhn definitely practicing avoidance there, but looks like he was able to avoid any contact. As we see the one of Davis now on pit road on lap 26 of this one.
Yeah, tough break for Kyler Davis. Did not go his way last week at Five Flags. Not going his way again this week at Hickory. It's going to be a long road to hoe for him to come back into this one. As you see there is that's the 13 of Bob Eldred, Brian Hoare in the 46. Both of those cars sitting outside of the top 10 at this juncture, I believe.
Indeed. We also saw the 13 Vermont of Ty Delphi on pit road. What a tough break for him. Had climbed his way into the 6th spot. We are getting ready to go back racing here, Nick, and we're going to have Richie Murray and Joel Hodgson in row number 1.
Here we go. Coming to the green on lap number 26. Richie Murray takes this to the green flag. Kyle Goodboe will get underneath Joel Hodgson and make a bid for second. And a little bit of a stack up. Caution flag is out. Trouble off turn number 2.
Yellow flag is back out here at the Hickory Motor Speedway. They stack it up on the restart. We're going to get a look here and see if we can determine what specifically happened to bring the crash out. But, you know, the bottom line is we are under yellow once again.
Yeah, absolutely. And hate to see it. We got some good racing going on up front. But for the second week in a row, some drivers further back in the field struggling to put their car in a position that is not going to endanger the position of the cars around them.
Let's see if we can get a look here on the restart. We'll take a look in the middle of the pack at what happens. It looks like the 70 of Rouse gets into the back of Jason Ricker, and everybody scrambles to avoid.
Whole lot of give and not a lot of take here tonight, Michael. Or I guess it's the opposite way. A whole lot of take, not a lot of give. Those racing sayings.
You got your words twisted there, Nick.
Yeah. We wish it was the opposite way around. Like I said, the racing up front's been really good. Richie Murray's been putting on a good show. Joel Hodgson's been a great story up there. And I'm excited to see what the battle will look like between Richie Murray and Kyle Goodboe. If Goodboe can get back in there and make a challenge at this. Matt Smith having a good run. And how about Ryan Kuhn up to 5th as well? Just got to have some green flag laps here for these guys to battle it out.
We will see what happens. Goodboe was inside the 36 of Hodgson on the restart, but the caution is able to save Hodgson. We'll see what happens here. Murray and the 36 come to the green flag. Once again, it's Murray with the great jump, and behind him, Goodboe back to the inside once again.
Yeah, Murray has been the king of the restart all day long in this one. As we come back around to complete lap number 27, Goodboe on the inside of Joel Hodgson. That's the battle for second place. Little bit of a contact there as Goodboe and Hodgson come together. Behind them, Ryan Kuhn waiting for an opening, trying to get up to the front, trying to go from last to first in this thing.
And not far behind him, here comes the 8-time ACT champion and the reigning IACT champion, Brian Hoare and Casey Beatty, threading their way through the field. They are up to the 6th and 7th spots with still 70 laps to go in this race.
Yeah, how about Casey Beatty? We saw him. He was involved in the wreck in the heat race. He was involved in the wreck early on in the feature. Car's all beaten up and battered. He's been on pit road a couple of times in this feature, but here he is running 7th on lap 31.
Maybe trying to pick up another spot here soon as Joel Hodgson is hung out to dry on the outside. Surrenders the 4th spot to Matt Smith. 46, Brian Hoare fills the hole to his inside. Still a whole train of cars ready to go by, but Hodgson tries to get in contact, and there goes Hodgson in 3 and 4.
And the yellow flag will not come back out. We're going to let him race here. And now the
Now
yellow
the yellow is
flag's
out as the
out.
9 of Ricker gets into Hodgdon.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, Joel Hodgson tried to
Oh,
get down to the inside there. Brian Hoare had a full head of steam, and I think they just came together.
that is what it looked like to me. We'll see if we can get our hands on a closer view of it, but we are back under caution 1/3 of the way through this Goss Chevrolet 100. No, that's not quite where we wanted. We'll talk to replay again and see if we can figure out find the view of the actual incident.
Yeah, I think Joel had been, really struggling there on the outside, trying to work his way back down, and getting down there was he saw the hole, tried to take it, but Brian Hoare was like, I think I'm gonna take it, and they both kind of came together. Knowing those two guys, there's absolutely no ill will involved there. Just a racing deal between the two of them, but unfortunate as we were starting to get a good little green flag run going on there.
But we will go on to the 7th caution of the day. So far, Richie Murray has been able to keep everyone at bay, but he's got some different company at the front this time. The 17 of Kyle Goodboe will now be at his passenger side door, and the 72 of Ryan Kuhn, your opening week winner, will be hot on his tail.
Yeah, that is how they'll line up. It's going to be a good battle here. Like I said, I'm excited for this top 3, top 4 battle here. I mean, even looking back, you get Casey Beatty 5th, Bob Eldred 6th. I mean, you got some very high quality iRacers up here in the top 6 positions right now.
Yep.
It's
Matt
going to be a
Smith
good
having
run.
strong run in 4th. Sorry, I talked over you again.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, Matt Smith running 4th. And Kyler Davis on the outside, maybe making a late pit stop here. We'll also take a look at row 4, Nick. Brian Rogers Jr. showing some market improvement over the season opener. Yep. And Reagan Parent, who had to start at the rear of the Constellation race, is now up to 8th.
Very rough and tumble day for Reagan Parent, as the lights should go down on the pace car. Yes, they have this time by. So, Michael, we have worked our way into a position to have a very strong run up here at the top of the field, similar to last week at Five Flags, where there's kind of like 6 cars that were in control of the race. I can see that happening here once again. That fight for the podium spot and the money positions here tonight. It's going to be a fun one to watch down the stretch as we come to green flag racing once again. Richie Murray and Kyle Goodboe taking the top 2 spots.
Kyle Goodboe brushes the wall off of turn 2, but able to secure that second spot in the RSB chassis machine. Behind him, things heating up for 4th. 45 Beatty to the inside of Matt Smith. Bob Eldred swaps lanes, and he's going to try and break in the top 5. Just Bob Eldred doing Bob Eldred things slowly but surely, a few wrinkles and all, working his way up to the field, now into the top 5.
Yeah, Bob Eldred always seems to show up at the end of these races, but we never talk about what happens if Bob gets to the top 5 before halfway. Might get a chance to see that here tonight as he works his way into 5th. A little bit further back in the field, Luke Shannon still chugging along here, trying to make up for some lost ground early on in the event. He's up back into 8th position here after he and Nate Wenzel had a little bit of Monday night car fights with each other earlier on in the event. He's working his way back up here as we approach lap number 40.
Bannon making some very quick work up to 8th, making the pass on the outside there of Brian Rogers. Rogers back to 9th and rounding out the top 10. Oh, is right in front. A little contact between Rogers and Shannon. Everybody holds on to it, but the caution flag is going to come out.
Yeah, we'll see what that is for, if it was for that incident or if something happened further up in the field. I don't know. It's Jason Ricker. I don't know if he had something to do with it.
We're seeing if we can get a word with replay on what might have happened, but 8th yellow of the day out with 39 laps complete in this one.
Yeah, it's certainly been rough and tumble so far. But a good group up at the front here. I think we're going to have a good race, good second half, good race to the finish. Especially these guys are going to start to see some tire wear. I think the big question here is going to be how much tire has Richie Murray actually used? He's gotten out to the front just about every restart, hasn't had to do a whole lot of work. And now he might get challenged a little bit.
We do see a lot of cars on pit road there.
Yeah. Everybody that's behind him, all these heavy hitters behind him now are, in a spot where they have to, they've had to use up their tires to get up through the field. You look at Ryan Kuhn in third, he started dead last in this thing. Casey Beatty said, been involved in incidents in this race. Nobody has been easier on their tires, I believe, than Richie Murray in the 08. At least, I would hope, considering the situation.
Indeed, and if you are just tuning in again, this is a 4-tire race, no tire changes. What you got on lap 1 is what you got on lap 100, so you've got to try and leave yourself something at the end, and you can save a lot when you're in the lead, but we're going to see who has what as the green flag is back out in the Goss Chevrolet 100.
39 laps complete, coming around to complete lap 40. 60 laps to go in the Goss Chevrolet 100. The leader is Richie Murray. Second place, Kyle Goodboe. Ryan Kuhn having some internet problems in the 72. Moves Goodboe up the racetrack. Might have surprised him a little bit. Goodboe's going to drop to fourth, maybe even fifth as Bob Eldred sneaks the nose in underneath. But Casey Beatty taking advantage of that, up to third. Ryan Kuhn now up to second, and look at a challenge, Richie Murray for the race lead.
Indeed, it's going to come down to 2 drivers who made their name at the Seekonk Speedway. Ryan Kuhn, a former late model champion there. Richie Murray, a multi-time winner, always a strong runner whenever the real-life ACT Tour comes to Seekonk. We are going to see if Murray can hold off Kuhn, but we're not even to halfway to this one. And they've also got the reigning IACT champion honing in on them with Casey Beatty in third.
Yeah, it's going to be a good fight to the finish here as that pay window gets closer and closer to opening. Payouts for tonight, $50 going to the first place finisher, the winner of the Goss Chevrolet 100. Second place will take home $30 and a crisp $20 bill to the third place finisher. So everybody on the podium getting at least $20 here tonight. And it's going to be a fight for that $50 in the grand prize here in tonight's Goss Chevrolet 100.
And it is on for the top spot. Ryan Kuhn to the inside of Richie Murray. So far, Murray able to use the momentum at that high side to hold on, and Casey Beatty is going to put the nose up there as well. He now gets to the top side on Ryan Kuhn for the number 2 spot. Kyle Goodboe just waiting to see what happens in front of him.
Yeah, these guys are working their way around this racetrack here. They know that, we're halfway on the tire strategy. You got to make these things last for another 50 laps. How are you going to do that while also, competing to try to put yourself in a position where you can win this race? It's going to be the ultimate challenge for these drivers. It's going to be a big-time test here to see, how well they can take care of their stuff while also putting themselves in a spot to be able to win the race.
And you can see, Nick, the outside groove appears to be coming in. The track was very dominant in qualifying in the first part of the feature, but Ryan Kuhn just surrendered 2 spots on the inside. He falls back to fourth. It is going to be Casey Beatty as the new challenger on Richie Murray for the lead.
Yeah, absolutely. You see Richie Murray maybe working that car up a lane or two higher. We have caution here. 9th one of the day comes out on lap number 52.
Just past the halfway point, yellow flag on the speedway here in the Goss Cars 100. Not sure what may have happened in the back of the field, but the yellow is out here. And now everyone gets a chance to catch their breath. Finally had a nice little green flag run of racing, and we are gonna see what happens here as we go.
Yeah, and while we work on the replay, we might have a development here with the way that outside lane just took off for Beatty and and Goodboo. I mean, the way that those two are able to make the pass on the outside, pretty impressive to see. So it's going to be interesting. Will that be the place to be on in the second half of this race? So we'll find out. There might be our problem.
So far, replay not able to quite get the camera view. We get any camera view. We had a very nice view of the front of the speedway, though. I've walked into the front gates at Hickory, Nick, and you feel the history of this track when you walk in there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Everything. It feels like you're going back in time. Beautiful, beautiful facility. They call it the birthplace of the NASCAR stars. Many of the early NASCAR champions they cut their teeth here at Hickory Motor Speedway, about 45 minutes outside of Charlotte. It's been racing for a long, long time. They put on great racing today, and hey, if you start your race at the wrong time, a funeral might even pause the race. There's a big cemetery off of turn number 2.
Indeed, and on the track we're going green. Richie Murray has chosen the outside for the restart, Nick, and he gets the jump on the start. Casey Beatty trying to keep the fender inside, but it is Murray once again off of turn 2.
Yeah, Murray saw what was going on there. He said, I'm not going to let Casey Beatty pass me on the top side too. Taking care of your tires includes trying to hold on to the lead, not putting yourself in a spot where you get to chase down the defending champion to make a run at the win. Now you see Ryan Kuhn's gotten an opportunity up on the top side. We'll see how Casey Beatty can handle it with the roles reversed. We saw Beatty make the move and successfully complete the pass on the outside. Now Kuhn will try the same up top with Beatty now having to figure out the bottom.
And look who is up to the 5th spot, Nick. The 13 New Hampshire of Lukey Shannon got sent to the rear with some extracurriculars earlier, but he is back up to 5th and looking to see what happens in front of him as here comes the 17 of Goodboo to the outside of Beatty for 3rd.
Yeah, Kuhn is going to make that pass, complete it, and now Beatty is giving up positions on the inside as yellow flag flies once again here, brings the race back to a halt on lap number 57.
Well, we have filled both fingers, Nick. The 10th caution of the day here at Virtual Hickory Motor Speedway. As the field slows down once again, Richie Murray has got to be thinking to himself, how many more times am I going to have to do this at the front of the pack?
There are nights where, putting on an iRacing league feels like herding cats. Tonight seems to be one of those nights.
And some nights it's like herding mice.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just not a whole lot of cooperation, especially in the back half of the field here tonight. And it's a bummer so far because we have some just excellent racing going on in the top 5, in the top 10. Guys giving each other space. And the more you watch, the more you kind of realize there's a reason why those guys are in the top 5 and top 10. And they're there most races too. It's not, the guys that are in the top 10 right now do not, they're not there by accident.
As they call it, the cream rising to the top. Once again at Hickory Motor Speedway, which incidentally, Nick, is one of those tracks that's named after a different town than it's actually in. Kind of like how Atlanta Motor Speedway is in Hampton, Georgia, and Charlotte Motor Speedway is in Concord, North Carolina. Hickory Motor Speedway is technically in Newton, North Carolina. It's basically right on the border of Hickory, so no love lost, but just one of those quirks of naming as we get ready to go back green.
Fun fact about Hickory Motor Speedway, it's within a half a mile of a Waffle House.
Well, what isn't within half a mile of a Waffle House when you get into that region?
That's very true. Green flag is back out at the Speedway here as Richie Murray is on the outside trying to clear the 72 of Ryan Kuhn as we come around to complete lap number 57. Kuhn holding tough on the bottom, and look who's filling that gap, trying to get himself back up into second after being shuffled back a little bit. Kyle Goodboo trying to find his way back to P2 while Richie Murray tries to hold on to the race lead.
Behind this battle, they are 2 by 2. The 45 of Beatty trying to hold on to 4th. He's got the 13 of Luke Shannon behind him. Then a 13. Oh, we see trouble behind him. Looks like the 7 of Cooper Bouchard has gone around, and the yellow likely going to come back out.
Yep, Cooper Bouchard, Justin Prescott involved in this one. You remember they had the hilarious one last week. We see the big one. We see, the long one in Talladega Nights. The last week's crash was the hilarious one where Cooper Bouchard went flipping over the pit wall as he comes back around.
Hilarious because it was virtual.
Yes, if that was in real life, it would have been jaw-dropping and scary. But knowing that you can reset the race car, it was worth a good laugh. And I think Cooper Bouchard's kind of wishing he could reset the race car at this point. Brian Hoare gets into the back of him. Oh, he got tag teamed by Brian Hoare and Justin Prescott right there.
Yeah, let's see. Hang on, we'll get a different camera angle here and see if we can see what happened.
Yeah, it's
going to decide to give us a very beautiful view of the pits now. Isn't that wonderful?
Well, we look at the concession stand. I will tell you, in my trip to Hickory Motor Speedway, they sell a mean fried bologna sandwich there.
Yeah, finally get a good view there. It looks like the 7 of Bouchard may have washed up into the 36 of Hodgson a bit, and when he had to check up, the 46 was there.
Yeah, that's definitely what happened. You see Bouchard go spinning. Justin Prescott into the back of the 46 and then into the side of Cooper Bouchard, and I think Cooper Bouchard's going to call it a night in the 7 car. I think Brian Hoare is going to call it a night in the 46 car as we come back to Green Flag Racing.
Once again, Murray chooses the outside in the 08. 72 Kuhn doing the best he can to hold it on the inside, but so far Murray has had all the answers to the tests as he keeps it up by a nose out of turn 4.
Richie Murray still out in front, but washes up a little bit there. Ryan Kuhn trying to take advantage of the inside line. You can see Casey Beatty's got the top line now in the 45 car. He's up to 3rd place now, side by side with Goodboo, as we see him running door handle to door handle, side by side, 1st through 4th here on lap 62.
Looks like Kuhn is able to roll that car through the center really well, but Murray getting a good run off, able to keep the bumper up for now. They bump a little bit on the back straightaway. Kuhn trying to take the lead here on lap 63, and at the line, he has it by a hubcap.
It is close. This is a great view right here, watching the, who's getting an advantage, who's losing a little bit of ground, and where. You can see Ryan Kuhn trying to work Richie Murray over for the race lead right now. Richie Murray not wanting to give it up, trying to pedal that thing on the top groove. Doing a good job of it so far to stay even, as Beatty is doing the same thing with Kyle Goodboo on the inside.
And behind him, you've got Shannon, Eldred, Matt Smith getting back into it. They've got a great view to this 2x2 fight for the top spot. Kuhn has it by about 100th of a second right now, but Richie Murray seems to know that the time for saving is getting the end near. Words are hard tonight, Nick, but the bottom line is he is fighting hard on the outside.
Yeah, absolutely. Not willing to give it up just yet. I think this is the most ground that Kuhn has gotten, though, getting about maybe a quarter to a half of a car length advantage. But now Murray with a big jump down off of turn 2 that time and trying to work that car around. You'll see, him running on the outside. He should have his best runs on the corner exit, being able to pinch Ryan Kuhn down to the bottom of the racetrack, impact the way Kuhn gets off the corner. That's when Murray should be gaining the most ground from the center off. It looks like right now they're just dead even.
Behind them, Casey Beatty has gotten clear of Kyle Goodboo for the 3rd spot. Saw Shannon try to get to the outside of Goodboo, but there was nothing doing there. Now it's a mirror image of 13 side by side for 5th. You can see in the background the 13 of Eldred on the inside, the 13 New Hampshire of Shannon on the outside.
Yeah, great side by side racing being put on here by our IACT competitors. here at Hickory Motor Speedway. 72 laps in the books this time around, and it's still anybody's race as Kuhn and Murray fight side by side with Casey Beatty waiting in the wings.
Yeah, literally a matter of just 100th or 2 of a second at the line, lap after lap. Still Kuhn with a little bit of an advantage on the inside. Richie Murray comes right back at him, and it might well have been a dead heat at the line, according to the ticker that time. Nobody getting the break here in this one.
This is just fantastic stuff to watch as we go back to the helicopter shot here. This is such a great shot to watch the side-by-side battles. As you see Murray really putting it up there for a higher lane that time, and he ekes himself back out in front. You can see him trying to arc that corner just a little bit. It gets him the run off of the corner. That gets him to where he needs to be to lead these laps. You can see putting a little bit of separation in between his car and Ryan Kuhn. You see in the center of the corner, he's almost in the 2.5 groove rather than the second groove. As, oh my goodness, David Weir spun out and nearly brought the side-by-side fight for the lead to an end. It's going to be important here. Who is going to be considered the race leader?
Indeed. It has been very close at the line as we saw David Weir went around. We'll see if we can get a look from our replay team at what happened here to bring out the caution. Well, at that point, the yellow flag is out. It looks like Weir already gone around, and we see Luke Shannon go around too after the caution.
Oh my goodness. Backs up in front of the field. Well,
that was by far our longest green flag run of the night, Nick. We're going to have 23, maybe 22 to go when we go back racing in this one.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. This is a money restart. We saw the long green flag run. We'll see if we can get another one. This there is a chance. I know we're sitting here. The scoreboard says it's the 12th caution. Yada yada yada. There's a chance this could be the last restart of the race, so it's going to be an important one. Richie Murray, Ryan Kuhn, you got to get your best jump of the day and put yourself in a position. You want to be the car that's leading, not the car that's following at this point.
And importantly, Nick, you can see the word from scoring is by about the width of a cat's whisker. Richie Murray was the leader when that caution came out, but he is going to switch it up and choose the inside for this restart with 23 laps to go. After running side by side on the outside for so many laps, he is going to throw a change up at Ryan Kuhn.
Yeah, I think this is to get in Kuhn's head to try to get him out of his rhythm. Say, hey, I've gotten great jumps all night long. This is what I'm going to try to do. Get a good jump and get in front of you and make you run a different line. Here we go.
Green flag is out. A great jump for Richie Murray on the inside. Gets clear without any problem whatsoever. Kuhn going to have to try and fight off Casey Beatty, and it looks like he does here. They will settle into the first and second spots, side by side for fifth behind them.
Yeah, that's exactly what Richie Murray was thinking about right there. He said, I'm going to make Ryan Kuhn confuse him a little bit. Say, man, why would he take the inside? He just passed me for the lead on the top. Well, he used it to get the strong jump like he has all night long. Richie Murray might be the best restarter in IACT at this point. But now Ryan Kuhn is underneath, and we're going to have a side-by-side battle again. Did Murray maybe give up a little bit too much, or is Ryan Kuhn just turning the jets on with 20 laps to go? We're about to find out.
It was Kuhn by a fender at the line that time, and he gets a great run through 3 and 4, and he is going to clear Richie Murray at the line. Ryan Kuhn, your new race leader. Casey Beatty going to try and go to the inside for the second spot as well.
And Murray now back up to the top, trying to figure out what went wrong with what seemed to be a perfect strategy play. Less than 20 laps to go, and now Murray trying to chase down Ryan Kuhn. We'll see who used up more tire in that side-by-side battle for the top spot.
Behind him, they are still going at it for that fifth position. The 13 of Bob Eldred and the 4 of Matt Smith. back and forth, fourth and back. Ahead of him, you can see Goodboot trying to duck to the inside for third. Couldn't find it that time. And remember, there are points on the line, Nick. 2 points per position with a 5-point bonus for the winner. Trying to work towards that season-long championship. Eldred was the runner-up last year, trying to gain some ground to try and finish the job this year.
Yeah, Bob Eldred putting together good run after good run, trying to settle in with his second top 5 of the year, get a good points day to, kick off 2025, put himself in a spot to continue and have again a shot at the championship this year, and a good battle here with Matt Smith with 14 to go.
And also side-by-side fight behind him, Lukey Shannon and Reagan Parent. For the 7th position, Dylan Zulo and Nate Wetzel, who have also had some trouble in this race, bounce back and are at the final 2 spots in the top 10. Here comes Zulo filling the hole inside of Reagan Parent. That is the fight for the number 8 position.
Yep, Zulo trying to get the spot here, going for 8th. Oh, look out. Around he goes. Caution flag.
I was just going to get the camera on the battle shaping up for third, Nick, but obviously that was, we're going to call that announcer jinx, videographer jinx, anything you want to call it. Bottom line.
Yeah, whatever works.
Well, I don't know if Dylan Zulo or anyone agrees that it worked, but
So we do get another restart, and Murray and
let's take a look at what happened here.
Yeah, let's take a look. Yeah, Zulo's just gets it in a little too hot. The tires are miserable at this point, and he goes around. But I mean, this restart right here is going to be Kuhn versus Murray again. Which lane does Kuhn choose? How does Murray try to respond? Kuhn obviously gets to decide when the restart happens as the control car. How did Casey Beatty and Kyle Goodboot play into this? Because I'm pretty sure neither of them would be too content with third or fourth here tonight. I think they want to win this thing. After they've kind of been sitting back and plotting their strategy here for a restart like this for 90 so laps.
And don't count out that 5th place car either. Bob Eldred somehow always finds a way to put himself in the conversation. And if something happens between these front 4...
Yeah, I think Bob just really likes to talk to us.
I mean, I don't know why anyone want to talk to you or me, but
Very true. Well, the
Ryan
lights are
Kuhn
off.
chooses the inside for this restart, Nick. Oh, a little bumper tag as we come to the green.
Casey Beatty got into the back of Ryan Kuhn, and I think Ryan Kuhn was just like, okay, I'll go now, I guess, if you guys want me to that badly. And he's off with the lead. Beatty is running second, or going for second now with Richie Murray. Got to get this pass done in a timely manner if he wants to have a shot here. Unless there's another caution, Beatty's got to make quick work of the 08 of Richie Murray. Murray tags the wall. Beatty trying to get down there. We have caution number 14 on the speedway.
Inside a 10 to go, and the yellow lights are back on around the virtual Hickory Motor Speedway. Not sure what happened in the field, but again, the folks driving side by side at the front are going to have to do it all over again.
Yep, it's, this is crunch time for these drivers up at the front. You've got Murray and Kuhn, and I think Murray's still going to be scored in second. At least it looks like he is. So obviously that restart was a little rough and tumble because Beatty got into the back of the 72 of Kuhn, and just that kind of got the restart going. Murray has been a great restarter all night long. How does he combat what Ryan Kuhn's got up his sleeve here? And Kuhn's been steadfast on that inside lane. He's not going to give it up. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here for this restart, which, once again, I'll trick myself into saying it again. It might be the final one of the race.
Well, Nick, also be interested to see how Richie Murray's car handled, because when he was side by side with Beatty last time around, he slapped the backstretch wall pretty good coming off of turn two, and we're getting to the point where those little scuffs and dings are starting to add up, and I'll be really curious to see how that car handles over the final 9 laps.
Yeah, none of these guys have very much left in terms of in terms of tires or anything. You know, these cars are not handling well at this point in time, so it's going to be a big restart. Going to be important here. See what happens.
Out of 4, green flag. Ryan Kuhn with the jump once again. Beatty wastes no time getting to the inside of Murray. They will go wheel to wheel for second, and behind him, Bob Eldred back to the inside of Goodboo.
Yeah, the side-by-side battle is for second. Murray top side. Beatty bottom side. Kuhn driving away with the race lead. Hitting the wall that time is Murray once again as we go back to our helicopter shot. Side-by-side fight for second. This is all Ryan Kuhn needs as he looks to go 2 for 2 to kick off 2025.
Wheel to wheel from second on back. Murray with the great run off of turn 2 that side, trying to get clear of Beatty, and he does off of turn 4. Can he make one more run at third as Goodboot getting a little anxious there in the 4th spot? He knows it is time to go as they are coming to 5 circuits remaining.
5 laps to go in the Goss Chevrolet Hickory 100 here at Hickory Motor Speedway.
Yellow is back out.
And we're not going to make it to the finish. So
Keep
we'll
saying
see.
It's the last restart enough times, Nick, and eventually it will be.
There we go. There we go. Yeah, unfortunately, it's just been one of those nights. 15 cautions. Something that will be worked on by series officials to make sure that we limit these types of races. But that's the way it goes sometimes. So the racing up front, as it has been all night long, has just been excellent. We'll see what happens between the 72 and the 08 of Murray now, but the last 2 or 3 restarts, it's been advantage Ryan Kuhn.
Indeed, and you can see, Nick, just what an advantage it is being able to fire first on these restarts, because when Murray was the official leader, he almost always got a great start, but then when Q once got to the lead, it's him getting the big jump. So can Richie Murray find a way to at least keep the fender outside of him and keep Kuhn from being able to run his line out of turn 2? If he's going to have any chance of winning it, I think that's what needs to happen. Is he needs to keep that fender up there so that Kuhn can't take the lines he wants out of turn 2 and maybe slow him down a little bit. We'll see if he can do it.
Yeah, I mean, if Murray wants any shot in this thing, he can't go into turn 1, without being side by side, right? Kuhn has bested him on the last 2 or 3 restarts, so he's got to give it all he can here to make sure that he can stay side by side. That's all he's got for a shot here as they come to green.
4-lap dash for cash. Green is out, and once again, it's Kuhn away with the lead. Inside again is Beatty. We go sideways in the back of the pack, and they are scuffing and fighting for the second spot as Kyle Goodboot pushes his way through.
And here comes Bob Eldred. Caution flag is out.
In turns 3 and 4 as well.
Caution.
Oh boy.
Flag flies again. We'll see how they re-rack this restart order. It did not stay orderly up at the front. When there's some dollar bills on the line, these drivers get up and get ready to go as we see the cause of the
We can figure out what happens here in the field. Oh, contact between the 70 and the 46 as they stack it up in the back, and that brings the yellow out. Just as things were, well, as Ken Squire might have put it, things were overflowing at the front of the field, Nick.
Oh, my heart. Well,
And it looks like it looks like as of now, the '08 of Richie Murray has been put back up to the second spot. So scoring reverts to the last complete green lap and ruling that the lap didn't get completed. So it's a complete restart order minus the cars involved, it appears.
sure looks that way, and that's a break for Richie Murray in the '08 machine. And Casey Beatty, Kyle Goodboe, Bob Eldred's probably saying, "Hey, what the hell? I was up to third place on that deal. Now he's back to fifth."
But in the end, procedure is procedure, and it is going to be Kuhn and Murray once again, this time with 3 laps to go. Just over 1 mile to decide the Goss Chevrolet 100. Here they go, Nick.
Oh, and Murray with his best restart of the last 3 or 4. Still not enough to stay even with Kuhn, as we see if there's any calamity that will ensue. Coming to 2 laps to go. Goodboe's sideways. Bob Eldred getting underneath him. Eldred trying to fight back for position. Eldred's going to take the spot, and now the entire field's crashing.
Oh, you asked if there was going to be any calamity, and I don't know if you wished for it, but your request was granted.
Yeah, we'll see who survived this one. As if just when you thought they couldn't find a wreck to top it, they go out and top it. And everybody from about 5th place on back is wrecked. Kyle Goodboe is in it. Man, oh man. It's like watching the end of the Daytona 500.
Oh, gosh, Nick. That's something you never want to be compared to. So let's see if we can get a replay here. Oh, yeah, Goodboe gets a little sideways, and the field is there. Smith piles in. Logan Powers, Reagan Parent. Oh, man. Oh, Matt Smith gets bounced around really good.
I know Matt Smith has a VR headset. I hope he wasn't wearing it for that wreck.
Oh.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can back this up a little bit. Oh, yeah, it looks like they kind of got stacked up there, and...
Yep, man.
Oof.
There goes everybody. I want to shout out Brian Rogers in that 12 car. Looks like he might have spun there at the end of that. I don't know where he's at, but he's had a great race in that 12 car.
Indeed. He, had a rough go of it first time, but was hanging around the 8th to 12th position. Unfortunately, looks like he may have fallen back in the field some, as we are getting ready for a green-white checker here at the Hickory Motor Speedway.
So here we go. Green flag will come out. Next time by it'll be the white. Next time by the checker. And we're racing once again, and Murray just couldn't get going. Beatty might clear him off of turn 2, but Ryan Kuhn is out into the race lead as Luke Shannon's trying to get in there as well, trying to come back and get third as we reach the final lap of the Goss Chevrolet 100. Bring it home, Michael.
Yep. 3 wide entering turn 3. That's the battle for second. Ryan Kuhn is going to win it. Here they come for the second spot. Trouble off of 4. Beatty gets the spot. It appears that Shannon may have gotten third, according to our ticker, then Murray and Eldred. As they get together hard coming off of turn 4.
A fitting finish to a rough and tumble Goss Chevrolet 100.
We'll see if we can get a look here at what happened at the finish. The bottom line is that Ryan Kuhn is 2 for 2 here at the foot. Here. And we're just going to watch this last half lap in slow motion, Nick, as they scramble for the second spot.
Yeah, you see Shannon is in underneath there. He's going to door slam Beatty. Here comes Bob Eldred. Shannon comes back down. Eldred's got the spot, or Eldred's got the position. And there's just chaos everywhere. And fitting way for the race to end.
But the man who was in front of it all, Nick, was Ryan Kuhn for the second straight week, and we have him now, it appears, in victory lane. Ryan, obviously some eventful stuff in the back of the pack. You have to come from last. We'll start there. How did you manage to make your way up through the field?
Yeah, just trying to keep the nose clean the best I could. Got caught up in one wreck, but I just tried to get to the bottom because it seems like all the wrecks here just slide to the top. So I just tried to glue it to the bottom and just hopefully miss all the rest of the carnage, and we did. Got a little bit of damage early, but it was okay, and yeah, came home kind of sort of in one piece.
And you're 2 for 2 now to kick off the year. Two very different paths to victory for you, but it's got to feel good to have back-to-back wins here in IACT to kick off 2025.
Yeah, it feels good. You know, the racing was fun, and I mean, it got a little chaotic right at the end, but you know, it was a fun race trying to get up through. It was really, really, really hard to pass. The bottom was really good on the restarts, but the top came in about 5 laps after the restart, so it was just kind of just playing guessing games about is the bottom going to come in or not. So it was really tough battle with Richie there. I saw him taking the top in those restarts. I'm like, here's my chance, and you know, tried to roll the bottom the best I could. Couldn't get it done the first time, and the second time he took the bottom and was able to roll. And I saw him make a little mistake, and I had to pounce. So we were able to get the lead and hold on.
Well, Ryan, congratulations.
Indeed. Ryan Kuhn, 2 for 2 in the 2025 Goss Cars IACT season. Fitting, bringing the RKM setup shop again. Ryan, obviously it's been great seeing your race. We're certainly hoping to see more of you throughout the season.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
On to our second place finisher now, Casey Beatty in the 45. Casey, it was not the smoothest of days for you either. You had damage in the heat race on pit road early in the feature, but you found your way back up through the field and put yourself in a good spot to find your way into a podium finish here. You're kind of sitting and waiting behind the 08 and the 72, and ultimately it ends with you picking up a second place finish here tonight. So what are your thoughts on the race?
All in all, it was a good race. Had a few misfortunes early in the heat race and in the feature to get damage. Car didn't quite drive as good after that. After we had the damage, got most of it fixed, but it was kind of just methodically picking away up through the field, avoiding all the wrecks and not getting any more damage and being in position at the end.
Now, Casey, things got pretty wild in the fighting for that 2nd through 7th spot over the final 10 laps or so of the race, and you were right in the heart of it all. How did you manage to pick your way through all of that?
Kind of just being on the right side of it. I ran Richie a little rougher than I wanted to. It was just super tight on the bottom. Just knew I couldn't give up anything. We made a little contact there on that final restart, and it messed him up big time. But yeah, I was just kind of being on the right side of it. The outside groove there at the end of a long race like this is not really the place to be.
Well, Casey, congratulations on a second place finish and back in the podium here, looking to defend your 2024 championship. Off to a pretty good start, I'd say. So congratulations.
Thank you.
On to third place finisher Luke Shannon. He started the race at the front of the field. Then it was on between him and Nate Wenzel, and then working his way back up through methodically, makes his way up back into third place some way, somehow. Luke Shannon, how'd you do it?
Yeah, I did not mean to get into Nate at the beginning of that race. I just was trying to be patient, and he checked up a little bit more than I expected going into one on that lap. But I apologize to him for that. And after that, I knew I just had to be patient and pick off cars one by one, slowly up through the field. 100-lap race, knew it was going to be a long, long race. So that was just my strategy. And with that final restart, I was glad to sit 5th, and Bob Eldridge slid up the track, and I was able to fill the hole, and it just all worked out.
Yeah, to going back a little bit, obviously it's a long race, but you never want to come from the back. I mean, mentally, how do you work on resetting yourself out of something like that and getting yourself back into a mode to make a charge through the field?
Yeah, I just knew it was early on. I knew I had the car to do it. I knew the outside was the place to be midway through this race, so I just kept trying to roll out there the best I could. Car was really, really tight down on the bottom mid through the race, so I just knew I had to be on the top and slowly pick everyone off.
All right, well, Luke, congratulations once again. Back-to-back weeks, you're on our podium, so heck of a start to your IACT career, I'd say.
Yes, most definitely. I appreciate you guys for the broadcast and Goss Cars for putting it on.
Awesome. Well, that will wrap up our coverage of tonight's Goss Chevrolet 100. Michael Stridesburg, how about you tell us about our next race next Monday night?
Indeed, race number 3 of the GossCars.com IECT series coming up Monday, the Sobo Shootout, 150 laps at Virginia's South Boston Speedway. Had a great show last year, already looking forward to getting back there. Once again, we'll have practice at 30, broadcast will go live at 8 o'clock, and, a lot of great races coming up as well. And Nick, we did finally manage to fill the TBA on our schedule as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is the first official announcement of it, but we have decided at IACT that the TBA later on in the season will be at New Smyrna Speedway down in Florida. Should be right. Well, it'll be a little bit after Speed Weeks. But yeah, in the whole spirit of Speed Weeks being down there, ACT, of course, went to Speed Weeks a couple of years back. I say a couple of years, more like 10 years. But it figured that's a good track to run on iRacing, so that will fill our TBD date later on in the year. But man, I'm excited for the Sobo Shootout. That's kind of become it's like the Sobo Shootout and the Doug Hoare Memorial are the two crown jewels on the IACT schedule that have kind of developed over the years of us doing this series. So one of the crown jewels of the schedule coming up next week, the Sobo Shootout, 150 laps around South Boston. Gonna be a good race, and gonna be a tough fight to see which lane prevails there. Do you work on the inside? Do you get it to run well on the outside and get the runs off the corners? Very similar to the way we saw Hickory run tonight. So it's gonna be a fun one, Michael. Can't wait, and we'll see you there.
Yeah, a fun one, and an extra 50 laps, and my understanding, we'll confirm, but my understanding is that race, because it's 150 laps, will be one of the events where they'll have a set of virtual change tires in the pits, which adds another element of strategy. And before we go, Nick, let's just quickly go through the unofficial top 10, because we definitely had some jostling and shaking with those big wrecks over the final couple of laps. Ryan Kuhn, your winner, pending virtual tech inspection. Casey Beatty second. Then Luke Shannon, Richie Murray, and Bobby Eldred. The top 5, not quite the surprise. But the second half of the top 10 got very interesting, and I just want to point some of those drivers out. Nathan Wenzel coming back from that early incident to 6th. Kyler Davis, who was on and off pit road all night, somehow finds his way up to 7th. Brock Rouse has his first top 10 in 8th. Mike McCaskill, his first 2 IACT races, gets top 10 finishes, 9th tonight. And David Weir, who we saw sideways in front of the field with about 25 laps to go, comes home 10th. So some very interesting results and some good runs for some drivers who needed it.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's all good stuff, and we'll see who's able to build on some momentum in going into next week. Be fun to see. So we will see everybody at Sobo South Boston Speedway for the second annual Sobo Shootout. Should be a lot of fun. It was a great race last year. Should be another one this year. Once again, that's Monday night. Practice is at 7:30 if you're looking to race, and our broadcast will go live, as always, right here on the American Canadian Tour YouTube channel at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. So for Michael Stridesburg, I'm Nick Mumley signing off from Hickory Motor Speedway. Once again, Ryan Kuhn wins the Goss Chevrolet 100. We'll see everybody next week at Sobo for the Sobo Shootout.